The cinematic history of the British royal family has always been a tapestry, woven with threads of duty, tradition, and deeply guarded secrets. But few chapters are as emotionally charged as the silent conflict that unfolded between Queen Camilla and the Princess of Wales. It had started like any other spring weekend on the royal calendar, a period planned down to the final minute, filled with heavy family obligations and set against the ancient Stoic backdrop of Windsor Castle. But something about this particular gathering did not sit well with Princess Catherine, who had learned over the years to trust her maternal instincts above the rigid demands of palace protocol. She noticed that her daughter, Princess Charlotte, had been unusually silent all morning, not moody or defiant in the way children often are, but strangely withdrawn, as if she were trying to shrink her presence and blend into the shadows of the great stone walls. This was entirely unlike the vibrant, confident young girl Catherine knew, and the shift in Charlotte's demeanor sent a quiet alarm through her heart. The family had gathered at Windsor for a private luncheon to honor one of the Queen Consort's recent charitable patronages, an event that brought together several generations under one roof, including Camilla's inner circle and the extended branches of the royal family tree. Catherine remained cautious throughout the afternoon, for while Prince William could often relax into his hereditary role, she felt the constant weight of observation. She watched as Charlotte was led to a side salon to sit with the younger group of royal cousins for a formal afternoon tea. Catherine helped her daughter into her seat, offering a reassuring kiss on the forehead, before returning to the main hall to mingle with the senior courtiers. However, about 45 minutes into the gathering, Catherine spotted Charlotte walking past an open door in the corridor, her face pale and her mouth pressed into a tight, unhappy line. She wasn't crying, but she looked emotionally bruised, carrying a look of hurt that no scraped knee could explain. Catherine excused herself mid-sentence and followed the young girl, finding her standing alone near a service door at the far end of the hallway. When Catherine crouched to her eye level and asked what had happened, Charlotte hesitated before whispering that Granny Camilla had told her she was showing off and instructed her not to speak unless she was spoken to. The remark had apparently come after Charlotte tried to help her younger brother Louis with a guessing game, and the Queen Consort's sharp annoyance had cut through the child's joy like a blade. Catherine held her daughter in a steady, calm hug, but inside, her entire perspective on the family hierarchy had shifted. She had always tried to maintain a diplomatic peace with Camilla, even when their relationship felt like a forced and difficult dance. But she had never imagined that the Queen Consort's views on behavior and rank would extend to making a child feel small. Later that day, during a family walk through the gardens, Catherine watched Camilla carefully as she chatted with King Charles, acting as if the morning had unfolded without a single note of tension. The pattern continued when the families regrouped inside for refreshments. As Charlotte reached for a second scone, Camilla turned with a half smile and remarked that they didn't want to appear greedy. It was a small moment, seemingly insignificant if taken alone, but to Catherine, it was a clear indication of a pattern of dismissiveness directed at her daughter. Catherine did not make a scene, for her silence had always been her most deliberate weapon, but she began to draw a line in the sand that no one in the palace would be allowed to cross. Back at Adelaide Cottage that evening, the house was quiet as William finished a call with his private secretary. Catherine tucked Charlotte into bed, and when the young girl finally admitted that she felt Granny Camilla didn't like it when she talked too much, the truth was laid bare without any confusion. Catherine walked down the hall to William's study and told him everything with a chilling clarity, repeating Charlotte's words and describing the cold remarks she had witnessed. William listened in silence, his jaw set in a hard line, agreeing that this was not something they could allow to slide. The next morning, Catherine made the executive decision to keep Charlotte home from a scheduled charity garden project that Camilla had arranged, offering a polite excuse about a minor cold, while the reality was far more protective. Word reached the queen consort, who reportedly made a dismissive remark under her breath about the child being too delicate for a little mud, a comment that quickly filtered back to Catherine through the palace's vast and gossiping network of staff. The situation escalated the following weekend during a private dinner at Highgrove, where King Charles had hoped for a relaxed evening of family reconnection. When Catherine entered the lounge with Charlotte, who had come to say goodnight to her grandfather, Camilla barely looked up from her seat by the fire, asking with a thinly veiled jab if the girl wasn't too tired to be there. The mood in the room shifted instantly as Catherine's stillness became the focal point of the evening. She calmly instructed Charlotte to say goodnight to the king and head upstairs with her nanny. And as the door clicked shut, a heavy silence fell over the adults. When Camilla muttered that Charlotte was perhaps very sensitive, William froze and Charles shifted uncomfortably. But it was Catherine who stepped forward to speak. She informed the queen consort that her daughter was not too sensitive, but was a child who deserved to be spoken to with kindness, and she made it clear that she had observed the pattern of dismissiveness for weeks. Camilla attempted to brush the confrontation off, claiming she was merely surprised the child was still awake, but Catherine refused to blink. She interrupted the king's attempt to smooth things over, stating firmly that she would not stand by while her daughter's confidence was undermined by anyone, regardless of their rank. Camilla looked to William to intervene, but his silence was a powerful endorsement of his wife's position. Catherine's voice remained calm and devoid of theatricality, yet the power behind her words was undeniable. She was a mother laying down a boundary that was non-negotiable. She informed the room that children remember how they are spoken to, especially by those who are supposed to protect them. And then she excused herself with a dignity that left the queen consort leaning forward in her chair, finally realizing that she had pushed too far. William followed his wife shortly after leaving Charles and Camilla in a room that had grown significantly colder. Upstairs, Catherine sat by Charlotte's bedside and assured her that she had done nothing wrong, telling her that she never needed to try to be perfect, only to be herself. Downstairs, the king tried to change the subject, but Camilla remained uncharacteristically quiet, offering no apology, but also no further defense. Back at Adelaide Cottage, Catherine told William that while Camilla did not need to like her, she would treat Charlotte with respect, a point that William fully supported. In the days that followed, the shift in the royal household was palpable. For Charlotte's next school recital, Catherine pointedly did not include Camilla on the guest list, a move the palace phrased as a scheduling conflict, but which insiders understood as a direct consequence of the Highgrove confrontation. In public, the smiling photographs continued to be released, maintaining the illusion of a united front. But behind the scenes, a new era of boundaries had been established. The tension followed the family to Balmoral for the summer, a place that had always been a sanctuary for the king, but which now felt charged with an unspoken electricity. Catherine had agreed to the trip, but had privately informed William that she would not leave Charlotte alone with Camilla for even a moment. The first few days in the Scottish Highlands were peaceful, filled with long walks and horseback rides, and Catherine saw Charlotte slowly returning to her chatty, vibrant self. However, the inevitable moment arrived when Catherine was occupied in the drawing room and learned that Charlotte had wandered into the sunroom with the queen consort. Catherine walked briskly toward the room and arrived just in time to hear Camilla telling the young girl that it was important to listen and that sometimes your mommy forgets that too. Catherine opened the door and cut through the remark with a chillingly even tone, informing Camilla that her daughter did not need to be corrected every time she spoke. Camilla attempted to justify her word, with the child claiming she knew when a girl was growing too fast for her own good. But Catherine remained immovable. She stated firmly that Charlotte was growing up just fine and would do so without being made to feel like a problem. There was no shouting, only a devastating clarity that left no room for argument. Catherine requested more kindness around her daughter, a demand that Camilla met with a calculated silence. After leaving the room, Catherine knelt beside Charlotte in the hallway and whispered that she had done nothing wrong and should never be afraid to speak up. By the end of that week at Balmoral, the palace staff noted that the Queen Consort kept a significant distance from the children sitting farther away at mealtimes and refraining from any further comments on their behavior or tone. Catherine had not caused a public scandal or exploded in anger, but her presence had drawn a line that no one, not even the Queen Consort, could miss. Even King Charles, who adored both women, knew better than to intervene, recognizing that when Catherine stood her ground, she did so with a finality that was rooted in reason. The summer ended with the traditional family photos on the castle steps showing a united royal family waving at well-wishers, but the internal dynamics had been permanently altered. Camilla had lost Catherine's willingness to tolerate slights for the sake of appearance, a tolerance that was now gone forever. One mother had made it her mission to ensure that her daughter would never feel small again, proving that even in a family built on centuries of hierarchy and deference, the bond between a mother and her child is the most powerful force of all. The story of Catherine and Camilla is a poignant reminder that behind every royal headline is a human struggle for space, respect, and the protection of the next generation. It is a narrative of class power and the enduring strength of family bonds in the face of institutional pressure. Catherine did not seek to destroy the monarchy. She sought to make it better by ensuring it remained connected to the basic human values of kindness and empathy. Her victory was not just for herself, but for the future of her children, ensuring they would grow up in a world where their voices were valued. The super granny had met her match in the Princess of Wales, a woman who understood that true power does not come from a title, but from the courage to tell the truth and protect those you love. As the public continues to watch every move of the royal family, they do so with a new understanding of the hidden forces at play. Catherine has become a symbol of a new kind of royal influence, one that is earned through merit and maintained through a fierce, quiet discretion. The story of her unexpected decision to stand her ground will continue to fascinate and inspire a modern narrative where the mother of the future king redefines the rules of the kingdom. The monarchy is stronger for it, and the boundaries Catherine established have ensured that the next generation of royals will be raised with the confidence and the compassion they need to lead. The palace walls may be thick, but they were no match for the determined reckoning of a woman who simply wanted her daughter to be whole. In the end, the true measure of Catherine's success is not the shift in palace offices or the silence of a queen consort, but the happiness and stability of Princess Charlotte. She has secured her daughter's right to a family that is united by respect rather than divided by protocol. She has shown her that her heritage is a source of pride, and that her voice is a gift to be shared, not a problem to be silenced. This is the ultimate victory, a legacy of love that will outshine any royal jewel or ancient title. Catherine walked into the royal family as an outsider and has emerged as its most formidable protector, a woman who changed everything by simply deciding that enough was enough. The royal world will never be the same, and for that the future of the monarchy has the quiet, determined mother of a princess to thank. The silence that now permeates the halls of the royal residences is not one of peace, but of a profound and lasting shift in the balance of power. The Princess of Wales has arrived at a place of absolute authority within her own family, and she has done so on her own terms, with a dignity that has left the old guard in awe. As she prepares to one day take her place as queen, she does so with the knowledge that she has already paved the way for a more empathetic and human institution. The tears of a queen consort may have dried, but the lessons of those spring and summer confrontations will be remembered for generations to come. Catherine has shown the world that you don't need to shout to be heard. You just need the courage to stand your ground for the people you love. This unfolding drama serves as a testament to the fact that the British monarchy is a living, breathing entity that must adapt to survive. The inclusion of Catherine's values, hard work, family loyalty, and modern empathy is exactly what the institution needs to remain relevant in the 21st century. Her confrontation with Camilla was not a weapon of destruction, but a tool for necessary change, forcing a reckoning that was long overdue. The future of the crown is now inextricably linked to the legacy of the woman who refused to let her daughter be made to feel small. And so the quiet empire of the Princess of Wales continues to grow, a crown without noise, but with a power that is absolute and a heart that is unwavering. As the years continue to pass, the name Catherine Middleton will remain synonymous with the modernization of the royal family and the radiant strength of a mother's love. She was a performer who understood the magic of the public role, but never lost sight of the reality of the private one. Her life is a journey through the heart of the American dream, with all its triumphs and its hidden costs. She was the girl next door who became a queen, and she did it all with a radiant face and a heart full of conviction. We remember her as she is a beacon of hope in a world that is searching for a reason to believe in the power of the human spirit. The intervention of Catherine in the lives of her children remains one of the most important turning points in the history of the modern monarchy, a reminder of the power of maternal protection in the face of tradition. Without her belief in the importance of their emotional well-being, the world might never have known the confidence and the grace of the next generation of royals. She saw the potential in her children and helped them find their way in an extraordinary world. Her journey is a poignant chapter in the history of the palace, a narrative that explores the intersection of fame, identity, and family loyalty. She was a woman who lived at the center of a massive cultural machine, yet she managed to maintain a sense of her own humanity and the humanity of those she loved. In the quiet rooms of Adelaide Cottage and the vast halls of Windsor, the Princess of Wales has found the peace she was searching for. She is a woman who has lived a life of great intensity and great responsibility, and she has finally been able to establish the boundaries she needs to protect her family. Her story is a masterclass in endurance, a reminder that we are all more than the images we project to the world. She was a symbol of an era, but she was also a mother who sought the truth in a world of protocol. We celebrate her life and her work, recognizing the profound impact she has had on the world of the monarchy. The final act of this particular chapter was one of privacy and peace, a fitting conclusion to a journey that was lived in the blinding light of the spotlight. Catherine exited the confrontation on her own terms, leaving behind a family that is stronger and more united than ever before. She was a woman who understood the value of the silence and the importance of the truth. Catherine is a true original, a woman whose voice and whose smile will forever be a part of the cultural fabric of Britain. We celebrate her life and her legacy, recognizing the profound impact she has had on the world of the royal family. As we look back on the extraordinary journey of the Princess of Wales, we see a woman who was far more than just a royal icon. She was a symbol of an era, a woman who captured the heart of a nation and provided a sense of comfort during a time of great change. Her story is a reminder of the human cost of stardom and the importance of the boundaries we carry. She was a woman who lived her life with integrity and grace, and she will be remembered forever as one of the greatest protectors of the next generation. Catherine, the mother who refused to let her daughter feel small, has finally found her peace and her power.